Welcome, Wizards. It
Hello.
it was the night before the night before the night before Wizmas, and all through the weird house, not a familiar was stirring, not even a blue mouse. The fur gnomes were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of mushrooms danced in their heads. When below the secret tower there arose such a blizzard, GM, LFG, it's some rare looking wizards. Now Kobold, now Sandman, now Charmer and Olympian, now Warlock, now Wildman, now Crone and Labyrinthian. Wag me, they said. It's lore, not the floor. And they were summoned away to put their runes on the door. This is Elfin Dota, channeling in from the Quantum Downs. Welcome to the Wizmas special.
Welcome.
Yeah, that was my little Christmas poem I wrote about 20 minutes ago.
I love it.
So one thing I'm seeing is that Wizmas Santa has delivered packages to the cult all around. This was actually my first time even seeing the merch box, and I was really impressed. We did a good job on that.
Super good. Yeah, especially Loch Ness and Bear Snake, who really carried a heavy load to get that out. There's been so many little details, even details left to come. Really,
Yeah.
they've done a great job on that.
Yeah, I say we did a good job, but it was mostly Loch Ness and Bear Snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved everything in the box. Loch Ness, do you have anything to say about it? I know that you're still working pretty hard on getting orders and stuff out.
Yeah, I am. Can you guys hear me? I just wanted to say
Yep, hello.
hi. I
Hello.
just wanted to say, did I lie about the softness of that hoodie?
No. It was soft and heavy.
Yeah, super excited to see everybody rock their merch, and I also am super excited for everyone on Christmas Eve.
Yep.
I think the timing
likewise.
worked out better than we thought. It wasn't necessarily planned to come out this late, but it's sort of nice in time for the holidays.
Yep. It went really well. So good job, guys. And yeah, I'm sure we'll do another merch box of some sort at some point. Cool. So yeah, we've got a lot of things to talk about today. I know I certainly do. I guess one interesting thing that happened this week was the NSFW Book of Lore that's been released, which I don't think our team really had much to do with, right? It was TV and a few other people who put that together.
Yep, Forgotten Ludes.
Yep. Yeah, it's been something that's been on the back burner, but I'm really glad we finally got it out. And Niski made a really funny comment in our Discord. He was like, "Yeah, I wonder if it's going to flip the regular Book of Lore," which is totally possible.
There's already one naughty pixel art that's been released there, so if you haven't checked it out, it's there.
Oh man, yeah, I need to look at that.
Yeah, I've never.
Yeah, I mean, Rule 34
really never
definitely
seen anything
applies
like
to the
it.
cult.
Yeah.
Wait, are you recommending I don't look?
No, it's just, it was not something I ever really sort of visualized ahead of time. So there you
go. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. I can't wait to look at that. It's good. It'll be a good family dinner time conversation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your parents will be so proud.
Speaking of, yeah, exactly. Speaking of family dinner time conversations, I don't know about your house, but Magus Wazir has basically become a household name in my house.
Same here.
And I think all of our heads were blown away when we saw the red hoodie reveal.
Was it a reveal?
Because
or was it just
the hood came down.
more mystery?
Exactly. The hood came down, but the mystery remains. And I know that Magus Wazir is not going to
Also, what about
shed
Wizmas
any light on this topic.
I know. And I really regret not putting in the form to get the Wizmas
And his,
again. I'm having serious FOMO.
and his voice revealed.
There was a voice reveal?
Yeah.
I have not seen that.
Didn't
Or
help.
heard that.
Someone posted it. It was awesome.
Interesting. Okay. So okay. All right. Well, yeah, I'll look for that. Yeah. Magus was the mystery of Magus Wazir continues. But yeah, I agree, Dota. I'm so upset that I did not put in a request for a Christmas card.
Yeah.
Same. So jealous.
Yeah. Big mistake.
Big mistake. But we're so grateful to have them as a sage this week. Was promoted. We haven't had a new sage in quite a long time, and I think, maybe as we've had a few new people coming in, with the announcement, just growth in general, it's great to have someone who's offering to help sort of like shepherd the flock in that sense. And so, yeah, we're really thankful to them for volunteering in that position.
Yep. Another thing that happened this week was we put out the little goat animation from our trailer with Titmouse. And I actually have a lot to say about it. I know it's just like a little GIF, but it's yeah. I mean, I've got a lot to say. So, but before in previous Wizard Wednesdays, we'd talked about like, should we release footage from the trailer? Should we not? It was a big debate. And I decided to pull the trigger on this particular piece of animation and just go ahead and show it. And the reason I was okay with showing it, well, it's I guess complex. So like, first of all, modern day movie trailers annoy me a lot. I usually try not to watch them if I actually want to see the movie, because what they often do is there's a lot of spoilers in the trailer. And they might be tiny spoilers, but they're still spoilers. And so what I mean by that is there's this concept in classical storytelling called the setup and the payoff. And, every movie has this. Every story or every film has like a story arc, right? Where the main character, you set up their dilemma, and then over the course of the film, the dilemma is paid off. And so that's like the main setup and payoff, the main arc in any film. But then within that arc, there's like tons of mini setups and payoffs. And so like maybe the next level down is every film more or less has 3 acts, act 1, act 2, and act 3. And each of those are a setup and a payoff. And then you can break it down even further to like, oftentimes every single scene is a setup and a payoff, even if it's just a little one. The character like enters the scene and they leave the scene slightly changed, even if it's very minor. And so what I see in a lot of modern day trailers is they show a lot of scenes that are the payoff scenes, because often those scenes are very loaded with eye candy, and it's spoiling all these little tiny payoffs from scene to scene. So anyway, I didn't want to show any payoffs in the trailer, because even the goat scene, there's like a setup and there's a payoff. And so I showed the setup, and even in the tweet I said, what happens when a goat charges into the quantum shadow? And I didn't show the payoff, because I want to save that for the trailer release, because that would have been like a little spoiler for just that little like 5-second scene. So that's why I decided that we can share that, and you'll get to see the payoff when we release.
It's going to be beautiful.
Yes, yeah. That animator, that guy is amazingly talented. It's funny because like one thing that has like pushed the date of the release is I asked Titmouse if we could have him animate more scenes. I would love for him to animate the whole thing if possible, but yeah, I basically requested way more of his work, and that's sort of what pushed the release date out. So yeah, the trailer is going well. Yeah, God, we have so many things going on. We've got the game going on. We've got the comic book going on. Dota and I gave an interview to this kind of a big deal journalist last week. And I thought it went pretty well. It's actually the second time we talked to him. Dota, did you think it went well?
Yeah, I think it went well. Yeah, we'll see if anything comes of it. Hopefully, he'll pass around his megaphone.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting because yeah, this was the second time we talked to him, and I don't think he fully understood everything the first time. This is the challenge that almost every crypto project has. Like the first hump you've got to get people over is just like explaining the fundamentals of blockchain, and that alone takes time. And then when you're trying to do something within that framework, then you got to explain that. And so like I don't even think this guy fully even understands a lot of the fundamentals.
Which is interesting because, like, it was interesting after we got that call. I was kind of like, I was a little disgruntled. I was like, Elf, he doesn't get it. And you were like, it's fine that he doesn't get it. It's our job to educate. And I
Yep.
thought that was really helpful because, like, I also, even when I look at myself, I feel like I'm starting to understand as time goes on more, like what we are creating as a cult and as a community. I think this idea of kind of community participation in the co-creation of this world and narrative and characters. We all know Lord of the Rings. We've all watched whatever Harry Potter. We talk about this, but it never really has been the case that there's both like um, a community who can come around a universe and create these characters, and then also have sort of, let's say, economically aligned incentives for all of us to work together on it at this scale. And I think even you and I, are kind of learning every day about like what is being created and what it means to like develop IP. No one has done this before at this scale. And it's really like, as you say, the blockchain that kind of enables this sort of coordination. So it's not that surprising, I
Yep.
suppose, that a journalist doesn't quite get it, because we find that we are learning new things every day, being obsessed with it.
Yeah, I'm finding that I'm like refining my pitch, I guess, more and more, like simplifying it and boiling it down to like the essential points. Because like one thing that came out in that discussion with that guy, that journalist, was like we started talking about how like fanfic and fan art and remixes and appropriation and all of that stuff. That's not really new. People have been doing that forever. But what makes this different is the blockchain technology. There's a new incentive structure in place that wasn't there before. And we talked about this a few weeks ago, was how this is one of the major components that makes everyone in the cult want to be so creative, is that new incentive structure.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I think, Dota, you and I have been seeing this other thing happen a lot with anyone we talk to, where people are just like, you know what, this is going to work. And
Right.
like we're seeing these bulbs go on with people we talk to, where they're like, yeah, I think this is definitely something.
Yeah, and I think the depths of like what it can be. Again, I don't know how to express it. It's like even just this week, I had some like Edison light bulb turn on moments about like what process we've created and the length of time that these characters will live, and the stories and the comics and the games that we'll all be able to create as a community. And so I think it'll just take some time to work itself out, but we're on a good path.
For sure, it's definitely been very experimental. Even things that a few months ago I thought were going to be challenging, such as canon and continuity, that all is very clear to me now. And that journalist had asked about that as well. Um, you know, I think like once we get some concrete examples out into the world, it's going to click for a lot of people. So like again with the comic, you know, we're writing a bunch of short stories, and I've told the writer, you know, work these wizards into your story, and by that I meant wizards from you all, from the cult. You know, we've got like a little internal directory of all of your wizards with like little descriptions about who they are, and I, you know, and I give that to the writer. I'm like, you know, write just like a little, like maybe it's like 2 panels of like Magus Devon, or for example, selling our main character a quantum mushroom or whatever. And you know, that's canon. That's that's continuity. That works. You know, it's not like we have to write a full like comic about Magus Devon, but having Magus Devon appear as themselves in that panel that's informed by the actual book of lore entry, that's freaking awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited to have like more like mainline stories, right? I always say that it's like you need J.K. Rowling to write Harry Potter before you can have sort of the community fanfic. And so I'm excited for us to like make more progress on the show and all that. But we're, you know,
Yep,
it doesn't, yeah, we have enough creative people to fault them.
for sure. You know, another thing that everybody's going to start seeing is uh, your wizards are going to start appearing in promo material. Um, and so like we're working on a game trailer, and I don't want to give too many details right now, but like I guess just let's say your some of your wizards will appear in this trailer, and they will be behaving like your wizards. Like we're not like giving them different personalities from what you've created. Um, like they will appear as they are in the trailer. I feel like there was one other piece that's coming out, not the Titmouse thing, but something else.
I think
It's
one is that
slipping my mind right now.
one, yeah, one is that like you're working on the master lore doc. You know, we've been working a lot on the map of the world, particularly as it relates to the game and the future.
Yep.
Like, you know, we announced, for example, that we're going to do a land sale. We don't have, I don't know that we've announced the exact date, but it'll be somewhere around, you know, hopefully Q1 of next year, which is relatively soon. And
Mm-hmm.
so Jeldon was here last week, the co-founder of our game development studio partner. And so we talked a lot about that last week. And so, but as a result of that, I was trying to develop out the game, being like, well, you know, what is the whole world? That's something that you've been working a lot on. I don't know if you wanted to talk a bit about like the master lore, the entire map, these sorts of things.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Because yeah, it's been something that all of our creative partners have been asking for: the game studio, the animation studio, the comic. They really need like a good, just overall guide that explains the entire world, all the history. So so yeah, I've like had to hunker down and just like pretty much like put this all in a very presentable and digestible format for them to use. So I've got the entire world map drawn, and then the entire lore behind why it looks the way it does. Um, and not that we're going to release that anytime soon. You know, it's going to roll out in phases, but like, you know, the game studio needed that because they need to make like, I don't know, like 3-year projections on like how it's all going to be rolled out. So they need the entire map. Um, there's a scene in the trailer that needed a section of the map that is not shown on the current one, so I had to draw that for them. Um, so yeah, the entire map is drawn. All the master lore behind every single head, prop, body, spell is being written out. Because again, these studios need that stuff. And you know what I'm finding is like all of this stuff now just needs to be created, just sort of all at once. You know, I say all at once, but it's like, you know, it's still like taking months to do because honestly, a lot of it is being shaped by the stuff I see you guys doing, the stuff I see you like doing in Discord, on Twitter, the art that you're making, the stories that you're writing in the Book of Lore. I'm really taking all of that into account and letting it sort of build this world. And I say this, that I'm building it all, but I'm still leaving it very open and ambiguous to be like further shaped, because I don't want to be the only arbiter of what this world is. It's just as much or perhaps even more yours than it is Magic Machine's. So, yeah, I mean, last week we talked about this ebb and flow of creative energy back and forth between the cult and Magic Machine, and I think that back and forth is so important. It's not a one-way street. It's constant back and forth. But yeah, so the master lore doc is definitely coming, and it's something that'll be added to. It's just it's really shaping up nicely, and yeah. Anyway,
Cool.
I've been
Yeah.
talking a
So
lot.
we could talk a bit about souls. Well, we had some sick burns this week. We had Battle Mage Caligula of the Keep burned into the Horned Phantasm Caligula of the Smell. I think the sickest burn that I saw this week was Archmagus Orpheus of the Hall burn into the Lich Emperor Supreme. Wow. TV, I see that
Oh,
you're here.
finally! I've been waiting for that one to come out.
It's amazing. Couldn't be happier that you got it, TV, and like it was just amazing. Somebody said in there that they're like, I knew that this was the halfway point, and so I figured that the halfway point would be something special. And as much as I tried to not let the magic numbers be boughtable, this was a brave and choice and a good insight into how Elf and I think about these kinds of drops. And so, yeah, it was really, really just wonderful to see that this week.
Yeah, what I love about the Lich Emperor Supreme is, well, okay, there's some ambiguity about who in this world is evil, who's good, what the quantum shadow is. It's designed that way for a reason. But I'm like almost certain that the Lich Emperor Supreme is one evil mofo. I mean, Tiv, you own him and you can make him whatever you want. But like, if I had to think of one like just pure evil villain, I think he's it. And like I'm drawing this whole world map, and one thing that's really cool is like there's not just like one major antagonist. There's sections all over the map where antagonism is coming from all these different places. So it's good and evil is very relative and complex in this world.
And there's been some questions too, even today, about like, well, what's the official lore of souls? And in terms of everything, like the lore of souls is that they're a transmuted wizard that passed through the flame every bit as part of the world as wizards. And I think we need a bit of time to kind of implement, for example, the walk cycles for souls, but that's not at all kind of like indicative of sort of some like lesser priority to that collection. We'll bring them up to par with wizards, both in terms of like getting them on IPS, putting them on IPFS, putting them on chain, getting the walk cycles and goodies, just like we have for wizards. I think it'll take us a little bit of time because
100%.
it took like a couple of months to get, maybe 3 months to get the walk cycles for wizards done. So it's not going to be fast, but it's for sure like happening.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, and speaking of that, we are also in production for getting the familiars walking.
They're so cute.
Yeah, no, it's because we really want there's World Wide Web 3, who's like my favorite metaverse project at the moment. That team is amazing. They've got that little feature where you can add a pet, and so wizards need their pet, their familiar. So yeah, we are working on that. Those walk cycles will be released. Well, I'm not going to give a date, but we're working on it.
I'm nothing without my snake.
Yeah.
Yeah. My
So that's
neighbor's gone
happening.
for Christmas, and so I'm like actually I my neighbor has a horse, and the horse is old. He's like 30 years old, and the horse just went blind. It's kind of sad. So I've been like taking care of this horse like all week. I have to like go over there and like feed it hay and food and whatever. I can't ride it anymore because he's too old, but it's really wonderful, and I think it's good. It's good to have animals in your life.
Definitely a blind horse. That's
Yeah, his
that.
name is Josh.
It's a good horse name.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, we've got Tom up here. We've got Moron of the North who offered to read lore. We've also got Nosferatu up here as well. Moron of the North, do you want to read lore? Are you ready?
I think Nosferatu is actually.
Okay, got it.
But
And
well,
then
actually, hold on. We'll ask him. Yo, Nos.
And then we also have Ozz, I think, who also is going to share lore, maybe towards the end as well. So we should have 2 lores today.
So
Well, while we get you guys up here, maybe we could do some shout outs. I don't know. Help.
I was Ozor's lore is ready, but I don't know if Nosferatu wants to read it or if Ozor does.
Okay, sure.
But I mean, Nosferatu can answer for himself.
Nosferatu, you are a speaker. Are you able to speak?
That I am.
All right.
All right. Okay. First
Yeah.
of all, I got to give an introduction. This is the infamous Nosferatu, an ultra rare from the Forgotten Souls collection. This is a wizard who came to us on a live burn, perhaps one of the most epic live burns I have seen. And there have been a lot of epic live burns, but Nosferatu's transmutation has been one of my favorite. So with that introduction, Nosferatu, the stage is yours.
So I will be reading the first interaction that I've made in contact with a wizard in probably a millennia. And all right. Extinguished lanterns line the long, cut granite corridor. Thor's wrath provided Ozor with just enough light so he wouldn't trip over the near slippery floor. This passage seemed as old as time itself, and untouched for almost as many years. Is this truly how far I've fallen from the sacred pillars? He asked himself, slowing his pace, taking care not to lose his footing. After what had felt like hours, he could finally see an arched doorway in the distance. With every step, it grew greater in size until Ozor finally reached the base of it. In a cold sweat, he pulled back the hood on his burlap cloak. The message he received gave careful instructions that, if not followed, would surely lead to his demise. The doors were massive, close to 30 feet tall, but light as a feather. They opened silently, void of any gears or cogs. He kept his eyes fixated on the floor as he shuffled towards the large, pyramidal shadow in front of him. The doors quickly shut behind Ozor, and just as swiftly any remnants of light. Thor's wrath seemed to be drowned out by the darkness, with the exception of 2 extinguished lanterns, one on either side of the now closed doors. Using Thor's wrath, he lit the one closest to him, and in sequence around the entire room, they lit themselves, throwing the room into stark contrast. The granite had been replaced with cut and polished marble. The room itself mimicked the pyramidal shape of the mountain. Ozor stood in awe. Never before had he seen so many memes gathered in one place. They were framed in gold, hung tightly to the polished marble. Ozor moved from one grand image to the next, so entranced with the artwork he failed to notice the eyes locked on him from across the room. He worked his way through the room until he finally reached a giant coffin bound in chains. A powerful spell bound the chains to the coffin. Ozor had read of such spells before, which usually required the combined might of multiple wizards and a blood pact. There was a small gap in the face of the prison, granting the creature inside just enough visibility to peer outside. Ozor and the being locked eyes, and although it was only for a moment, time had felt as if it were standing still. Countless images flashed before him, some of the greatest memes in existence, but this was not all. He witnessed a witch being burned. An angry crowd gathered around here, fueling the fire with bad memes, ones the world had hoped to forget. It was in that instant Ozor felt he achieved an inexplicable illumination of the infinite, awakening. His gaze turned away from the creature, and he muttered a name to himself that felt as if it had been engraved in his mind. Nosferatu. He let out a long sigh, pulled up the hood on his cloak, and exited the dungeon.
I love it.
Holy shit!
Oh.
I don't know where that one got burned, but it should probably be in the Forgotten Lewds, because the things that it's doing to me are not safe for work.
Yeah. Okay.
Great job.
Here's what I'm loving about this art, the Nosferatu is like Tom has worked a lot of like he uses a lot of meme magic in his wizard lore, and we talk a lot about the wizards themselves being these creative primitives. The wizards themselves are runes. They're these little seeds from which we create entire worlds. And what's great is Nosferatu, if my vampire lore is correct, I think he might be one of like the first vampires, and all other vampires like came from him. Or you could even say all other vampires have been memed from him. So it's just perfect that Tom owns Nosferatu.
And what I also loved about...
I do not.
Go ahead.
Oh, you don't own Nosferatu anymore?
I do not.
Oh, okay, my bad. But you used to own him, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, no one does and everyone does.
It's
okay,
now.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
he's
But
his own
I was
thing.
not. I did not read that. I can promise you that.
I believe you.
Yo,
No,
Nosferatu.
he did not.
See, he's right there.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, for sure. That was definitely
Nosferatu is
himself.
his own being. He owns himself.
Fair
Right.
enough. Yeah.
And he is
We
still
can dig into
the meme god.
one of the things that I loved about that lore as well
Go ahead,
is
Dodo.
this idea of like this grand cathedral that has these epic memes chiseled into the walls, which like in a couple of layers.
Exactly.
One is just this idea of like how like French cathedrals, for example, they took like 200 to 300 years for them to construct, right? Like we would never take that long to build a building now. And so you might have, someone where one man starts it and his son works on it and his grandson, and it's building this like cross-generational epic work. And if you sort of take the Sapiens view of memes as being sort of like inner shared, inner subjective, there is maybe a sense that sounds irreverent at first, but I mean it seriously, in which many of the cathedrals actually are engraved with memes. But in terms of sort of like our culture, this idea that you might have whatever, like a wizard engraved, or some frog character engraved into this grand cathedral that took hundreds of years. I think it just kind of alludes to maybe even the project that we're building now, which like maybe our sons and our grandsons will be continuing the stories of the wizards long after we're gone.
Yep. Exactly. The meme is everything. It really is. Yeah, it's another thing it sort of makes me think about is like I was thinking about the trailer again, and how the style that it's being made in is sort of, it's more like this adult animation style, and it's going to look very mature, and I love that, and maybe that's the style the show will be in. But I can imagine a world where after that gets going, we do maybe even like a kids show, because I think that the wizards are style agnostic.
Yeah.
We've got the NSFW book of lore, but then we've also got like Sharon's children's book, and I think there's room for all of it.
Yeah, my 9-year-old wants to come on and share his lore. He's got a cold this week, or else he was asking me earlier today. He wants to share the lore of Runecaster Guy of the Citadel, so we might do that next week. But he's 10 years old.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, here's a really fun dynamic. Sharon's just like warm your heart story time, and then we had Shark Child's like horrifying nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
and we've got everything in between.
I listened to that the other night, and like my lights were off, and I was like, "Ooh, no, fuck. Let's do this tomorrow during the day."
That was so good. I still have goosebumps
Yeah.
from it.
Hey all, this is Malevolent. I have some lore to share.
Hi.
Do we have the time for it?
Please.
Yeah,
We have
Malevolent.
time,
All right. Sorcerer eldest of the Morning Star. In the charred ruins of a cathedral, he dwells. The charcoal walls are streaked with flakes of desiccated blood in the shape of runes he can no longer read. The prodigy sorcerer once led legions, but now only commands a hollow empire of bone and misfortune. Half-finished rituals and alchemical preparations litter the Witchwood altar. Nothing thrives. Not even sunlight dares linger here. The local villagers, emboldened by the tavern's stale ale, utter the sorcerer's name in hushed tones. Aldous the Black, heretic of the Morning Star, named after the fallen angel who waged war upon the heavens. While much about him remains an enigma, one fact is clear. The moon is his kin. Its arcane glow is complicit in the heretic's dark deeds. Runes drawn in fresh blood activate by moonlight, offering short-lived but powerful conduits for his magic. Fortunately for the world and its inhabitants, Aldous is forgetful. Even being naturally gifted in the black arts, he can barely complete a blood ritual without forgetting a critical component. His latest blunder occurred while preparing a mortal sacrifice. He briefly left the incapacitated villager unattended on the altar to fetch his ceremonial blade. Aldous was bewildered to return to an empty chamber. He then noticed the meticulously distilled and not administered sleeping elixir on the nearby table. He forgot the second dose. The once unparalleled sorcerer realized his error with a chuckle. He shook his head. A predatory grin spread across his face as he glanced out the broken stained glass window and spotted the victim fleeing in the distance. It wasn't always this way. Legendary reputations are seldom forged by failures. The eve of a crucial battle marked the origin of the heretic's amnesia and sole reason his imperial campaign was lost. Aldous can only vaguely recall that a fellow wizard traveling through the region congratulated him on his recent success and shared in tales and drink. He woke the following morning, war forgotten, and abandoned camp to go on a pleasant grave-robbing journey. With his skeletal legions and devoted zealots left without a commander, they fell, as did part of the great sorcerer. Since then, he has been consumed with the quest to confront the culprit who cursed him with forgetfulness and reverse it. However, there is one complication. He cannot remember who it was. In response to a sharp rise in disappearances and defiled graves throughout the village in recent months, efforts have been redoubled to hunt the heretic and purge the land of his perverse magic. Thus far, all have failed. As long as that pale orb traces an arc across the sky, Aldous the Black endures. Forgetful, perhaps, but he endures.
That's the problem with memory spells. You can't remember who cursed you with them. That's great, man.
I feel for him. One of my favorite movies is Memento, because the main character resonates with me. I have Post-it notes everywhere because I can't remember what I was doing 5 minutes ago.
Are you me?
I know, right?
Margaret, do you have your hand up?
Hi, Margaret.
I do have my hand up.
Hello.
I'm just super impressed by the lore I've been hearing in here. I've actually put my first lore for my own wizard in the Book of Lore.
Amazing.
Excellent.
Yeah, and so I have two options. I can either read you the lore, the introduction to Arcus's Almanac, or I've written a wizard version of Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas. Which one do you want to hear?
Ooh, that one.
Yeah, let's do the Christmas one.
Yeah.
Okay, that means I'm going to sing, all right?
Oh, yes.
We support it.
Woo!
Have yourself a merry little Wizmas. load your festive chants, mulled wine, and selection of some spicy plants. Have yourself a merry little Wizmas. Keep your rune on charge. Next year, every one of us is living large. Here we are in a fetid swamp, hoping Eth will pump today. Incantations from days of yore, and the choicest lore, hooray. One day we all slept in darkest heather, souls, kobolds, and cows. Now we sit before a massive pile of chow, and have yourself a merry little Wizmas now.
Wow!
Amazing. Amazing.
Holy what?
No way!
So good.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Oh I'm so glad we chose that one.
Oh,
Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Someone had to lighten it up.
I thought
yeah.
for a while the best song in the cult was Magus Wazir's Ring a Bell, but this one might give a run for its money.
Oh, your
That had a lot
voice
of
is
soul.
beautiful.
That was good.
Yeah, your voice
Beautiful.
is unbelievable.
Thanks.
Great.
Can we get like
Yeah,
a proper recording of that, Lorepop?
Yeah, we're
exactly.
recording this one. Yeah.
There's something magical when a bard just sings on Wizard Wednesday.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get a recording to you guys, and
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Christmas
all
album.
right, I'm getting off stage now.
Okay, thank you.
That was fantastic. I have like a permagrin on my face. It's my it's hurting my face.
Where do we go from here, man?
Yeah, where do we go from
Close
there?
it up.
That was so good.
Well,
yeah, okay, here's the thing. Kind of, I guess, switching gears is, well, so a few Wizard Wednesdays ago, I talked about the YouTube channel and how I want to make videos of everybody's lore. And we actually finished one of them. And I say we, but I mean Molly, who did pretty much all of it. So it's not uploaded yet. We will upload it soon. It's just like a little minute long. She did all the storyboards. And it's so cool. Dodo, you've seen it, right?
Oh, it's adorable. I love it. I can't wait to share it.
Yeah. And one thing I really like about it is it's done in a very simple style that, like, I'm hoping a lot of you will see it and be like, oh, I could do that. It's not that hard. Just like, send us the storyboards and the voiceover and we'll put it into a video if that's what you want. So yeah, that'll be coming out.
Hi, Dr. Poplovski. You're on Wizard Wednesday.
Hey, what's up, everyone?
Hey.
Hello.
I've got the Milk Guild poem in which I paid somebody on Fiverr to recite for us. If you guys are interested.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right, let's go. Let me know if it's too loud.
Okay.
In night we trust. Thick and tender, savory slice. I can't resist, but take a bite. At this moment, I see the light. What have I done? This wasn't right. Geomancer Moloch, I will join. Help abolish, tenderloin. Those beasts will live another night. Come on, brethren, join the fight. How to steer away from the forbidden fruit when so many worships this precious loot? How How do we convince a barbarian brute? Well, easy. We just find the right substitute. If this is what it takes to end the slaughter, Canaanites will show their deepest secret. For them, it's viewed as holy water. For us, it's milk. You just drink it. We still don't know where it comes from. For all I know, it's from their bum. One thing for sure, no need for rum. You'll feel as drunk.
That Fiverr person did an excellent job.
Amazing. That was amazing. I hope that was the end. I mean,
yeah, I hope it didn't cut off prematurely.
I feel like we cough a little bit. I don't know. Dr. Paul, tell us. Uh-oh.
Yeah, we may have lost him.
Oh, man. Okay, I love it. I love it so much. Maybe we can just start over at the beginning, honestly. Okay, well, let's see. We'll wait for Dr. Pop to come back up here. And Ozz, you have lore to read as well. This is just like a really lore-y Wizard Wednesday, and I love it.
Hey, guys.
Hi.
Hey.
You have posted.
Sorry for last week.
No, not at all. I really love your most recent art of the one who rings with the temple as a bell. Oh, beautiful. I'll share it if it hasn't been shared in here.
Yeah. It was a pleasure to work with Magus was here. I hope to do some more collabs with him or her.
Amazing. So you have lore to share.
All right. So I do. I wanted to put this in the book before, but I couldn't. So I'm just gonna read it now.
Great.
Hope not to bore you after all these special Christmas treats. So this is the lore of sorcerer Azal of the Mount, and he wrote a letter to two of his fellows, and they three formed a group to study the manuscripts of Sage Kela of the Steppe. And then he wrote this letter. A last rose. To my dearest friends Shadow Mage Hagar of the Realm and Archmagus Casper of the Mist. I lived a good life. I had access to incredible sights and knowledge. I left the Mount for many years and then returned for a last spiritual retreat. I dedicated a considerable part of my life to studying and improving as a sorcerer, and I know I've helped many on my way. Some years ago, before I finally headed back to the Mount, I joined a select group of wizards to work on deciphering the manuscripts of Sage Kela of the Steppe. Yes, our group. Those were happy years, folks. We spent days, weeks, traveling and exchanging information concerning the miraculous trips of the sage, trying to understand his way of life. I still do believe he's got an answer for the mysteries of life, and I'm profoundly grateful for all the experiences we have had together over these years of companionship. I, however, got tired of waiting for this wisdom. And I'm started to realize that although I have always been pleased to contribute to greater achievements of the communities I lived in, there was always a secret personal pursuit, a personal desire of acquiring more power. Power to see things done faster, power to optimize. So in the depth of my retreat, I researched, and I feel I was guided by the power of the rune of Neptune. It strangely pulled me out of external life and threw me uphill in a small cabin where I spent a long time reading and thinking about dreams and ideals. And I concluded that usual magic and philosophy were too slow if we were to conquer real power in this existence. I knew that kind of thoughts could drive me to darker ways, but in my heart I believed I was pursuing the light. The mysterious beckon of the rune of Neptune made me understand the importance of ideals and doing what it takes to realize them. Thus, I could wait no more. There are things that lie beyond consciousness, as we learned from the sage. Things that seem unreachable. Yes, unreachable in an earthly life. We have been trying to build a path into the unconsciousness of mankind. We have been carrying rocks and paving the way. It requires a lifetime. And this is where I turned to what would be my final decision. Do not take this the wrong way. I'm willing to give my life to this. Please keep reading. In one of my trips, I granted access to an old tome, and I must confess it thrilled me. There were passages I could never forget about opening bridges to other worlds. Real bridges. I know. You may judge me for a fool. I accept it. But this was meaningful to me. If one is to work all his life to build a road in slow burn, couldn't he do it quickly by opening a bridge with a real burning? The fire that drives us forward has many faces. I will leave you to your thoughts now. I cannot be dissuaded. It is decided. In the last weeks, I've been mentally preparing for this day. This is no trivial subject. It just came to me as the only possibility. None other than this would make more sense right now, when dark times approach rapidly once again. So it shall be done. I will go through the flames in sacrifice, and I hope to see you again from the other side. With all my heart, Sorcerer Azal of the Mount.
Oh, I love it. So did he actually did he get burned?
Not yet.
Okay. Oh wow.
But he will. Now he must.
So yeah, I think this might be the first time we've heard lore written in the form of a letter. So I love that. And then I also love when you guys have like two wizards interacting. That's really fascinating stuff.
Yeah. I'm doing some commissions that mix up a bunch of wizards, and I'm really looking forward to do some collabs in the near future. So, and also I would like to thank, taking this opportunity to thank everybody that's hired commissions from me. It's been a pleasure to work with everyone, mainly in the cult.
Yeah. Ozz has been an all-star.
I love seeing your artwork for sure.
Yeah, this is the cult is really inspiring. I'm trying to make more space to do more art. So yeah, thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. So I have the copy of "In Milk We Trust" poem. I could try playing it. Do you think I should start at 1 minute? It's 2 minutes and 30 seconds. I could start at the beginning, and we could just start over, or I could start halfway through. What do you think? Let's start at the beginning. What do you say?
Just go. Yeah, the beginning.
Okay, you guys tell me in Discord if you cannot hear it properly, or if you need me to go up or down. Let's see here.
In Mike we trust. Thick and tender, savory slice. I can't resist, but take a bite. At this moment, I see the light. What have I done? This wasn't right. Geomancer Moloch, I will join. Help abolish, tenderloin. Those beasts will live another night. Come on, brethren, join the fight. How to steer away from the forbidden fruit when so many worships this precious loot? How do we convince a barbarian brute? Well, easy, we just find the right substitute. If this is what it takes to end the slaughter, Canaanites will show their deepest secret. For them, it's viewed as holy water. For us, it's milk. You just drink it. We still don't know where it comes from. For all I know, it's from their bum. One thing for sure, no need for rum. You'll feel as drunk as a suburban mum. One bottle will feed you a day. They say it keeps the kobolds away. So put your purse on the table. Canaanite milk, so sustainable. Make sure it's warm, not cold, for you will know your sip is fresh, superior than rotting flesh. Bringing to your lips this white gold. Milk, cereal, and a wooden spoon. Reading the latest forgotten runes. Where have you been all those years? The cream of your kin, to you I cheer. For those of you imbued with magic, it's time not to feel so lethargic. Yes, this milk you can conjure. What you will get, you can't be sure. Have a go, cast a spell. The milk will grow, change its smell. For you don't know what you will find. Bear in mind, might make you blind. Your interest, I know, is piqued, as each outcome will be unique. More and more milk you will seek. Drink every week, and you will leak from the caves of the platonic shadow, all the way to the edge of the hollow. To this nectar you will kneel and bow. Reborn a collector, you will vow.
All right, proof of milk. that project is getting very interesting lately. It's got a little DeFi, it's got a little artwork, and now it's got poetry. And it's the first wizard project I've seen built around the cow, the Canaanite wizards. So very cool.
Yeah,
It's great.
it's not wholly exclusive to the Canaanites. I believe he's going to allow us to stake our wizards as well. I'll be staking Lumos as soon as the contract is open.
Awesome. Very fun. Yeah, it's funny. The Canaanite wizard is based on Moloch, who's like a really like scary, evil sort of demon god. And Poplovski has totally subverted that archetype into something really fun and hilarious, which I love.
Well, we've just got a few more minutes. Are there any questions?
Can you guys talk about that QR code? It's killing some of us.
Oh, yeah, that QR code will be really fun on Christmas Eve. That's all I'll tell you.
Yeah, I mean, I assume you just go to the site and all the full explanation will be there for what you do, right?
Yeah, but one thing to know is if you can't make that exact time, you don't need to worry. I think that's the main thing. No stress. Everyone who sort of like will, let's say, qualify, has no time limit, so you're fine.
Yep.
So it's not exclusive for those of us that ordered the merch box?
No.
Book of Lore writers also get to participate in this particular event. And so that means if you ordered a box and you wrote in the Book of Lore, you get to participate twice. Isn't that right, Dota?
It's right. Though we've already taken the snapshot, and we won't say any more than that.
Yep. Okay. Cool. There's actually one little quick thing I want to give a shout out to that I've been meaning to for a while. At the very end, and I don't know how to pronounce this Twitter account. It's like Hayalkio. I can't do it. Hayalkio. Is that right? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, it's this awesome like 3D world, but the 2D wizards are walking around in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we retweeted it. And I think it's like an NFT gallery.
Yeah, I shared it. It's in the shared tweets.
Yeah, it's so cool looking. I love that the 2D wizards are walking around in a 3D world. And like it sort of makes me wonder if like could we do that in Decentraland or Sandbox? Like just have the 2D sprites walking around in a 3D world.
Oh, that's interesting. We can look into it. I think also, if you don't know, we are working on 3D wizards. There's no real timeline because it's a massive project, but the goal will be by the time we're done, every wizard will have a matching 3D model, much like the sprite sheets, which ideally will be rigged and in some sort of set of standard formats, so you can use it both within creating derivative art, using it within metaverses. I mean, it's a lot because you have to sort of do modeling plus texturing plus rigging in formats that are supported by these other worlds. So give us some time, but we're working on that.
Yeah, I mean, this could open up a huge conversation, but like 3D web-based technology right now is it's really just finding its feet. There's no standards really yet. The standards they do have in place are very let's just say they're not super user friendly. It's, you know, in a lot of ways, it's funny. Web 3 reminds me of Web 1.0 in how like shoddy it is. But anyway, yes, that's perhaps a topic for another Wizard Wednesday. Huge topic.
I like the analogy somebody used. They're like, Web3 right now, we're all using MySpace, and Facebook hasn't even came out yet.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. But yeah, the High Alico or whatever, check that out, guys. I think you can use your wizards in it. It's a full 3D world, but you still walk around as a 2D wizard. It's a really cool effect. And I guess with that said, the hour is up. Dota, Bear Snake, Loch Ness, anything left to add?
It's getting dark. I've got to go feed my neighbor's horse.
Go feed Josh.
Yep.
All right, everybody. This has been Elf
and Dota and Ozz
And
Loch Ness.
and Dr. Slurp and Bear Snake and Tom and Nosferatu.
Poplovski, Margaret,
Malevolent,
Ozz,
Tanya, hello.
And Josh the Blind Horse, channeling out from the Quantum Downs.
Merry Wizmas.
Everybody.
Merry Wizmas.
Merry Wizmas.
There's a zero.